Okay, Tim's Turbos here again. Wanted to go over a few different things on measuring inducer, exducer, and some of the different types of wheels and blade counts. So first off, I'll go over the obvious here. We have a billet wheel here, we have a cast wheel. And a lot of people think that the billet wheels are always going to spool faster, and so on, which actually is not true unless they've been heavily modified. Now, both these tools were cut on a milling machine with the same tool path. And so if you have them on a scale, this one's always going to weigh more because it's made out of billet. Billet's a denser material. Casting is always going to be a lighter material. It's going to have air pockets, porosity, all kinds of different stuff in it. Both are strong wheels. Billet's great for like surges and really high boost pressures, but if the turbo's set up right, there's nothing wrong with a cast wheel. I'll go over to cast almost any day just because it's a lot cheaper, that's for sure. So the myth of them spooling differently, this wheel's actually going to spool faster. Now you can change things by actually slimming down the hub over here and narrowing the blades, because since it's a stronger material, you can get away with a little more strength as far as like bending the blades and stuff like that. And so that can give you a faster spool because you're going to be dropping weight, maintaining strength. So enough with that. Kind of going to go over measuring the inducer and exducer of a blade. Now the easiest ones are the even blade counts. Now all you really do, an inducer is going to be the entering part of the blade. This one shows about 45.99, so roughly a 46 millimeter inducer. The exducer is going to be the exiting gas part of the blade, and so that one's going to be about 83.2. And so it's always easy to measure an even blade count. Now when you get to the odd blade counts, it's a little harder because you don't have an opposite wheel to push against. And so the most oddball one pretty much going to be the 5 blade, and so we're going to measure that one. First step you want to take is get in line with the blade and measure the very bottom of the hub right next to the blade. And this one's pretty much at 14.12. And so I'm going to write it down, 14.12. Now what we want to do is divide that in half. So we got 14.12 divided by 2. It's going to be 7.06. Now remember that number. Now when we measure at the same spot, what we want to do is slide over to the opposite blade and take a full measurement on that, seated on the same spot as the hub. And so this one we get about 34.87. So we get 34.87. Now what we want to do is subtract that number, 7.06. So we got 34.87 minus 7.06. That equals 27.81. Now that's going to give us a radius diameter, basically the very pinhole of the wheel right there. And then all we do with that is multiply it times 2. Just times 2 equals, so we got 55.62 millimeters. So most people would round this up to a 56 millimeter wheel. Now some companies round up, some companies round down. Some companies will give you the part number of the turbo as the exducer. Garrett likes to do that. Precision likes to do the inducer. Holset never really mentions it. BorgWarner, they'll use the inducer a lot of times, and it goes back and forth. So that's just a basic way on how to measure the compressor wheel.